Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Pundits Society. After a brief hiatus, we're back and covering the World Cup once again, and a lot has happened since the last video. A certain match just wrapped up, being Argentina and Austria, and Pablo and I thought we'd hop in here, give some preliminary reactions to that. Also, the other big games that happened over the weekend, and what's upcoming. So, what's your first reaction to that Argentina-Austria game?
I think the only place that we can start is that Messi is really on great form. It's 5 goals in 2 games. The all 5 goals that Argentina has so far, and also 2 clean sheets for Argentina. So they're kind of looking pretty solid defensively. Austria did have a couple chances. One in particular that Martinez made a pretty good save on. I think it was a free kick, but yeah, I mean
Yeah,
Messi in great form. I mean, obviously a historical game in many ways because he just broke the World Cup goal scoring record all time. He's now got 17 goals in like 28 World Cup games. I think 28 games is also a record for the World Cup. And the game started off with a penalty in the 8th minute, which he missed, and I think it's kind of funny because these goals that break the record, you always want it to be something a bit more memorable. Even though Miroslav Klose, as I remember, was pretty average when he broke the record
yeah,
back in 2014. Like I think it was just like he hit it and then like it bounced back to him. He just like tapped it into an open net. But
yeah.
he missed a penalty, which Messi has been guilty of missing a few penalties in his day. But then more than made up for it about 30 minutes later with a really quite a spectacular goal. I mean, the cross was amazing, and then the dummy, and then Messi just doing what Messi does best and
First
finishing from
touch.
on the
Yeah.
first touch from right inside, just inside the box. But yeah, a great achievement for one of the greatest players, if not the greatest. I think by now most people would probably share that opinion. And Argentina looking pretty good. Austria in their first game they had struggled a little bit against Jordan, but they still managed to come away with a W. They did make life kind of hard for Argentina in that first half, but overall Argentina just had too much quality. But what do you think? Like, are you surprised that Messi's already at 5 goals after 2 games at 39 years old?
Um, I'm definitely surprised he's at five. I mean, when you talk about the greatest player of all time, in my opinion, and I'm sure that's a very commonly shared opinion, you can't be too surprised that he's doing it. But the thing to factor in here is he's turning 39 in 2 days. I always know it's end of June. I sometimes forget which one it is, June 24th. And at 39, I mean, not to make this a Messi versus Ronaldo thing because I don't even want to go there, and I think they're both legends, and for me, the one and two ever. And I love both of them. But you can see that Messi's kind of aged gracefully into his abilities in a way. I mean, he's lost a yard of pace for sure. And he definitely makes more mistakes than the Messi that we knew 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But with that said, I mean, he's still unbelievable. His technique is just it seems like it's been barely affected. He's still got an incredible touch. His positioning's wonderful. His finishing is very impressive. I didn't realize it was still that good. I feel like since he went off to the US, I've kind of assumed that he's been on the decline and like some of the international performances he seemed like he was. But yeah, 5 goals in 2 games. It's hard to say a lot. I mean, there's definitely questions to be raised about Zidane's performance in the first game as goalkeeper. I mean, maybe 3 goals is a little generous, but in any case, yeah, it's a great start for him. It's
Yeah, I mean Zidane, I remember he got a lot of grief during the AFCON already, as for his
yeah,
performances. And I think that's one of the big problems I see with Algeria. I think their squad overall is pretty solid, but I do think in that goalkeeper position they have struggled over the last few years. And I'm surprised that, to be honest, quite surprised that Zidane managed to hold on to his spot after that pretty heavy criticism I remember him receiving.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, overall, what more can we say about Argentina as well? I mean, Argentina are coming off a string of 3 consecutive tournament wins as well, right? If we count the last two Copa Americas and the World Cup, right? So it'll be interesting to see how they perform in the latter stages of this World Cup. I don't see them having as strong a team as they did 4 years ago, and a lot of the
I
core
agree.
that brought them to that success. is 4 years older, like the Otamendi's, Messi's, etc. But
Di
you never know.
Maria. Yeah. I mean, Di Maria, not even, yeah, I just mentioned that out of respect for him because he's been great for the national team. But I agree with you there. We'll be will be interesting to see how they progress, and especially as they get to the knockouts, if they're able to pull it off. There's a couple games we wanted to highlight here. Another one that we have to shout out is Cabo Verde still pulling another draw out of the bag, and you know what? I'm here for it. I love to see them doing well. I'm really hoping they can get a decent result from their last game and make it through. I just feel like they're a fun team to watch. Everyone's talked about their goalkeeper, obviously, who's exploded on social media following the first game. But I'm gonna be honest, the game against Uruguay, I thought they were gonna get smoked. I mean, that sounds aggressive, but and it's not even necessarily that Uruguay has the best team, but Uruguay is a well-established footballing nation, historically very strong in World Cups, even like 10 years ago 12 years ago. Yeah, I don't know. What did you think about that game?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I have to say I've been quite disappointed by Uruguay in this World Cup.
That's
Like,
true.
I always have like big hopes for them, but so far in their first two games, they drew against Saudi Arabia and Cabo Verde. So quite disappointing. I mean, especially considering that they're coached by Bielsa, who, I think he's a coach I respect a lot. Like he's historically always made his teams play really well, at least, but they've been all over the place for now. I mean, they're not the Uruguay of 12 years ago, 16 years ago, right, with the Forlan, Cavani, like these players. But I mean, they still have a player like Darwin Nunez, right, which should be making a difference against these
And
lower
Valverde.
tier
Yeah.
sides. Valverde,
Yeah.
exactly. They have some decent defenders, right? They have Jose Maria Jimenez from Atletico Madrid, right? So it's for me, they've been definitely one of the more disappointing teams of the tournament, but it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
nice to see Cabo Verde. I mean, there's also, I think the new expanded World Cup is good in some ways and bad in some ways. This is definitely one of the better things. I mean, a country like Cabo Verde would never be able to make the World Cup under the previous regime, I think.
Yeah.
What's interesting even is that, and this happened with Ghana as well, is that both Ghana and Cabo Verde actually didn't qualify for the AFCON earlier this year. So they didn't qualify for their continental tournament, but they did qualify for the World Cup. But I think it's nice to
That's a
see
good point.
more of these smaller teams participate, even though the first round is a lot less consequential now that the top two and then like 66% of the third teams will go through as well.
Mm.
But no, definitely that was an interesting one. Another team that's disappointed me quite a bit was Ecuador. They drew to
Yeah. Too
Curacao,
bad.
and so they have 1 point in two games, and like they were a team that I had pretty high hopes for because they had
Maybe
actually come
third
second.
best or second best.
I
Yeah,
think they were
second best
second
in
in
South
the
America. Yeah.
CONMEBOL qualifications, and I think they only conceded something like 5 goals in 18 games, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I've been really disappointed in their attacking output, I guess. I mean, against Cote d'Ivoire, I think they were a bit unlucky. I mean, also against Curacao, I guess you could. But I think if the goalie obviously having 15 saves, right, is a new record. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like if you can't score in 15 shots on target, that's also says a lot about your finishing. It's a bit like the discussion we had around Turkey, which actually we didn't cover because it hadn't happened yet when we recorded the last clip. But Turkey had 65 shots in their two matches
Yeah.
and somehow managed to
Ridiculous.
lose both without even scoring a goal. So I do think that there is obviously a component of luck to that, but then another part is you probably need to get off better quality shots.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Pablo and I spoke about Turkey and general World Cup things briefly this past weekend, and I said it in the video where we did our predictions. I'm sure I got a lot wrong. One of the things I got right was I said I've been burned on Turkey in the past. It's ever since the 2021 Euros when I had them going through as a dark horse, and like they let me down so hard that I've never been able to trust them again. I mean, granted, yes, if you have that many shots and you dominate the game that well, you know how much of that is really down to them being unlucky or maybe just not having things go your way. But yeah, disappointing for sure. I mean, they're out of the World Cup already, just like Tunisia. And on that note, I wanted to speak about one of the other predictions that I had, and my third team, I've been calling them in the World Cup, is Japan, who have they've just been living up to every expectation I set, man. I'm really happy. I feel like I went in and I said, I think they're going to be really good. I remember saying this to you and Julian when we recorded the video. I said, I think they've really high quality. And against Tunisia, I mean, it just kept going. We already saw glimpses of it against the Netherlands, but against Tunisia, their striker Ayase Ueda is just really good. I mean,
Mhm.
2 goals, 1 assist, and I don't know if you saw the assist, but it was insane. That's
No.
probably one of the best. He did a back heel flick assist on the third goal, like over the defender as like an over the top through ball. Um, yeah, I highly recommend going to watch the highlights from that game. I just been very impressed. 4-0 was a convincing display. Yeah, the question is whether they're going to land Morocco or Brazil. Either way, that's a hard game for them going out of the group, if they, finish where they finish. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they have a challenging matchup, and either way, I see them as probably the underdog, both against Brazil and Morocco. I know Japan have been pretty impressive for sure. I mean, I think they're gonna maybe lose out to first spot on goal difference because I do think the Netherlands is gonna have a field day with Tunisia in their final game, and
It's
Japan's
possible,
playing
yeah.
Sweden, which is a bit of a tougher matchup, even though it wasn't that tough for the Netherlands in the second game. But no, I mean, some interesting teams for sure. I mean, I think Ecuador could actually still make it through if they beat Germany, which is not super likely. But then again, Germany already has guaranteed first spot in their group, so they're probably going to
Mm,
play a team pretty full with reserves. So I think it is possible that they get through. If they win, they'll presumably get through as a third place team, unless Ivory Coast loses to Curacao, which I don't really see happening, to be honest.
yeah,
Then, I mean, some other interesting games. I think we saw Spain with a kind of
very good.
resurgence, winning 4-0
Mm,
against Saudi Arabia with 3 goals coming in the first 24 minutes. And, they subbed off Lamine Yamal and Oyarzabal at halftime. I think that really could have been a lot more goals if they had just been
yeah, he was
going
cooking.
for that, right? Like, I think they kind of took their foot off the gas after halftime, and we're content with the 4-0. But this is the Spain that I think everyone was expecting, right? Like this really free flowing team that can has so many different weapons to hurt you, right? Because they have both this really great system that they play, right? Where it's very fluid and
Creative.
they're creative, they keep a lot of the ball, and then they obviously have players like Lamine Yamal who, if there's ever a stalemate or a moment of kind of uncertainty, he can pull out a great moment, right? Like in that first goal that he scored against Saudi, or even 2 years ago in the Euros, that amazing goal he scored against France, right after Rabiot had criticized him, which is kind of
Yeah, it
a
was
funny
crazy.
turn of events. But I think Spain confirmed their status as one of the favorites to lift the trophy, right? The other one maybe being France and England, some would say. I'm still not convinced until I've seen England play a few games because I've been burned by them before, and obviously we have France. At the time of recording, France is going to play their second game in a couple hours against Iraq, so we'll see
Mm,
if they can follow up their performance against Senegal, which was a bit shaky in the first half, but then pretty convincing in
yeah,
the second half.
it was
So
bad in the
yeah.
first half. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying about Spain completely. I mean, that's what they needed after a disappointing first game, which you can chalk up to whatever nerves, first game butterflies. It always happens, but definitely what we expected to see from them. One other thing I wanted to mention, I know you briefly spoke about this game, but the Germany game, the main thing I want to touch on here isn't even the result or anything. It's that Dennis Undav, who has been a super sub at this World Cup, now in 2 games for Germany has, I think, 3 goals and two
Mm.
assists, which
Yeah, it's
is
been
ridiculous
amazing.
considering he's getting brought on as a sub. And I won't lie, I'm not from Germany. I've got zero ties to Germany. But it was pretty cool seeing the reaction and like how much it meant to him when he scored that second goal that, after the 90th minute, the game winner.
Yeah, that was a great
And
goal as well, to be honest.
it
Like
was a
that
great
turn and
goal.
then finish. And I mean, Germany, a lot of people are sleeping on them, I think. Obviously, I don't think their squad is as good as their squad, let's say like 12 years ago when they won the tournament. But I don't know. I think Germany could go pretty deep in this World Cup. They have a
I agree.
decent squad. I think Nagelsmann is one of the best coaches at the World Cup for sure. And I think sometimes maybe not having as big an expectation can be quite good for the players, right? Especially some of these younger
100%.
players that haven't maybe enjoyed all that much success at club level because they have a few, players from smaller clubs, right? Like we talked about Dennis Undav, players like Angelo Stiller as well, even though he's not really been starting. Players like Nemecha, like he's been insane. Like I don't know if you've seen the number nine, he's a midfielder.
Yeah,
Nemecha.
that's the one we
He's
spoke about in the
been
last
yeah,
video.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, again in the second game he was all over the place in a good way, right? But the only
Yeah,
worry
he's
I have,
talented.
I'm a bit just I don't know about Neuer in these big moments, Like obviously I'm not saying that I'm not trying to discredit from his ability as a goalkeeper, but the fact that he's 40, like I just don't know, is he gonna make that fingertip save, when the time comes, right? Like we'll need to see. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but I just feel like that's where I see Germany may be struggling in the bigger games that are decided on like a single
Yeah.
small detail, right? But
Mhm.
overall, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they even made a semifinal or something. Like I think they're strong. I mean, depends on
They'll
how
go
the
far.
draws go, but because if they top their group, if they and France top their group, they're gonna face each other in the round of 16. So that'll be quite a spicy one potentially. And
Yeah.
I think they will both top their groups, to be honest. I mean, Germany's already topped their group, and I
Yeah.
think
And
France probably will as well.
historically, yeah, historically, I mean, outside of 2016, which was the big one, and I remember I actually have a very vivid memory of being uh, a 16-year-old and listening to the commentators talk about France's curse against Germany in international tournaments. Outside of that upset from 2016, I'm mentioning a tournament 10 years ago. France has been bad against Germany in big international tournaments. Like we actually don't have a good record against them at all. So it sounds dumb, but I wouldn't want to match up against them, not just for that reason. Obviously, they have a very strong team regardless, but you're right. If we both top,
I mean,
we'll have to see how it
that's the
shakes out.
course, yeah. So, I mean, and Germany's already topped their group, like mathematically.
Yeah.
So, are you saying you want to come second to Norway and
No, I don't want to. I don't want to come second because I want us to do as strong as possible, build up as much confidence as possible. I always think that way. Even if you can hypothetically get a better course, I think it's best to, do as well as you can, and then if you
yeah.
beat the best teams, then that gives you even more legitimacy to your claim as,
Yeah,
world
it's
champions.
interesting that you mentioned that the curse though, because Germany actually has the same curse with Italy in official like
Yeah, there you
tournament.
go.
They've never beaten Italy. I mean, and in 2016 is the first time they actually beat Italy
Oh,
on
really?
pens in
Interesting.
like the quarterfinals. Like yeah, but there's still that curse. It's interesting to see how these things work, right? I mean, France also got really unlucky in like the past, right? Like in the 1982 World Cup, they played Germany in the semifinal and kind of really controversially lost. Like I think the
Yeah.
German goalkeeper like punched a French guy in the face and like got
Yeah,
away with
and
it.
that was
But
when Michel Platini was playing, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Or
But
yes, it was,
no, I
yeah.
think I think France versus Germany would be a great matchup. I mean, for me, I do have some pretty interesting matchups already in the round of 32. The way I have it predicted, I have Brazil playing Japan, which I think would be a great game. As much as I do like what Japan is doing, I don't see them beating Brazil, to be honest. And then I have
Hmm.
also Morocco against the Netherlands on the other side of the draw, which would be, I think, a very interesting game as well. But I would have the Netherlands slightly above them just due to their international experience and a lot of their players have achieved a lot, So I think in these clutch moments that will kind of bring them over the line. But other games that are interesting to discuss. I mean, Brazil beat Haiti 3-0, a lot better from Brazil, I
Good
think,
showing.
their first
Good
game was a
from
bit
Mateus Cunha.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Their first game was a bit more, not a great performance against Morocco. I mean, they did come out with a draw. Second game, resounding 3-0 against Haiti with all three goals coming in the first half. Obviously, that Vinny Jr. goal and the two goals from Mateus Cunha. The only thing that is a bit troubling is the injury of Rafinha. It's a bit uncertain how long he's going to be out for, but I think he's a pretty key player for Brazil to go far. I
Agreed.
think I have them making the final, so I hope it's not too big of an injury. But we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. And no, overall,
Neymar will come in, man.
maybe,
Neymar
maybe,
last
yeah. Anyway,
dance.
you never know. Are there any other games that we should discuss? I think.
No, the last one I'll do a quick summary of, and just to shoot a stray at them, is Belgium once again letting
Hmm.
down
So
supporters. I
disappointing,
mean,
yeah.
just bad, bro. Like Pablo and I have spoken about this numerous times, and we've spoken about Roberto Martinez, who's not even their coach anymore. But they're just
Yeah, but
disappointing, dude. I
now their
actually
coach is Rudy
genuinely feel
Garcia.
bad.
He's even
And
worse. I mean,
yeah, and the big names, I mean, granted, yes, the big names are older now, but these guys like Lukaku, De Bruyne were just bad in that game. Like there's no excuse. They were just bad. I don't know how to explain it.
no, I agree,
So
but I mean, first of all, you expect these players to take more of a leadership role in games that are a bit more tight. But secondly, even the younger
yeah,
players have been really disappointed. Like Doku, right? He's been
silent
nowhere really in these
makers.
first games.
Yeah. Doku didn't
Doku's someone
start, to
that
be fair, but I agree.
no,
He's
but in the
been
first
bad.
game he wasn't amazing either. And the thing is, a player like Doku, he's like the perfect player for World Cups. Like just can run at the
That's true.
defense, tricky, fast.
Touchline winger. Yeah,
Exactly.
I
So
agree.
so you'd expect him to do well, but no, overall, I mean, Belgium have been so disappointing. I'm not surprised at this point. I mean, they're one of the biggest wastes of talent, I think, in the last 20 years with how they let
It
that
probably
generation to
is
waste.
the biggest one. I agree. Biggest waste of a golden generation ever. Oh, no, you know what? I don't say no, that's not
And you could
true.
say
England was
England, I
worse.
guess, yeah.
England was worse. I retract that statement, but
Which, by the way,
yeah.
how do we feel about England? Because they played after our first video
Dude,
before this one,
I
but
think they're
they've
good,
been
man. I
looking
watched
good,
that
yeah.
game. I watched that game. I was on a work trip. I watched that game in a bar in Italy, and I was pretty impressed. I'm gonna be honest. I thought they were good. I mean, they had to get off the ground running, but once they started playing their football, I could see the vision with Tuchel, I can see it. I can see why he chose the players he did, even though I think a lot of those choices were wrong and might come to bite them in the butt. I think that they did well in that game, Got to give them credit where credit's due.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think they have they're gonna do well. We'll have to see when they match
The
up against
subs were
bigger
amazing,
teams. The
by
subs
the
were
way,
good
has to
as
be
well.
said. The
Yeah, like
subs were unreal.
they were also drawing 2-2 and then they really took off in the second half. They could have scored even a couple more goals than they ended up scoring. That being said, I think we need to see how Croatia matches up against other teams because I do think that this Croatia team is not the Croatia team of 4 years ago and definitely not the Croatia team of 8 years ago.
8 years ago,
And
yeah.
with a 40-year-old Modric, just to give an example, and a lot of
39-year-old Ivan Perisic.
yeah, a lot of their core is really like aging from that 2018 final run, right? But
They
we'll
gotta
see
they
in the
gotta
next
let
few
him go
games.
after. Yeah, this is the
Yeah, I
last
think
dance.
so. I think this is the last one. Yeah. And then last one, I mean, Colombia played quite well in their debut game. They're one of the teams
Yeah,
I always have a look at. I think they're really fun to watch and they have some really interesting players. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they progress further. But their first game, I mean, obviously, play against Uzbekistan, so maybe not the strongest of teams out there, but still getting a nice 3-1 win and yeah, then I mean, we also should briefly discuss Portugal because that was also after our first video. I mean, I think extremely disappointing tying against the DRC.
yeah,
I do think this whole Ronaldo discussion is a bit overblown. Like, I think the team in
yeah. We
general
spoke
was
about that.
really, yeah, we
Yeah,
spoke of this about this just privately, but the team was just really poor in general. Like, it shouldn't be coming down to relying on like a 41-year-old Ronaldo when you have players like
yeah.
Vitinha,
And Bruno
Bruno
Fernandez.
Fernandes, João Neves, right? Like Nuno Mendes, up front, Rafa Leao, right? Like on paper, Portugal has a top three, top four
This is
team
their
maybe in the
golden. This is
tournament,
their
but
golden generation.
and
Like
again, like I just
yeah.
don't know why we're giving golden generations to Roberto
To
Martinez. Like it just feels like the lesson has not really been learned from the first time, or I don't know what they
yeah.
see in him, to be honest. Like I'd much rather, I think you know what, like Jose Mourinho would have done a much better job with his Portugal side than Roberto
It would be
Martinez.
horrific to watch, but he would do a better job. I agree.
I'd feel much
For
more confident, for towards them winning the tournament than like with Roberto Martinez. I just think there's a 0% chance they win. Like I just can't picture him lifting a World Cup trophy, like it's just not an idea that.
I also just
that
don't
were
see why his stock is so high. Like he managed a couple, yeah, I guess he was decent with Everton. That's like all he's got
no,
on
and then
his
I mean he
CV.
was I guess people see like the semifinal run it with Belgium and again like the Belgium
I mean, that
France
was
I
that
mean, the
was
game was like
Eden
close,
Hazard,
right? Like could have
man.
gone either
He's-
way.
Yeah,
But then again, it was an amazing Belgium side which arguably should have won that World
dude,
Cup in
and
some ways.
arguably,
So,
I mean, I think he was easily top three players at that World Cup, Eden Hazard, and arguably had like the best performances in that all 2018 World Cup. It
yeah, and
was
then the thing is, I mean, they were pretty disappointing in 2021 in the Euros. I mean, they lost against Italy, I want to say in the round of 16, which I mean, Italy won
something
the
like that.
tournament, so whatever. I mean, I guess it's
Yeah,
fine. But 2022, they were abysmal. I think they were, I mean, they had a pretty hard group, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been with Morocco and like Croatia and another team.
yeah,
But still, I
something
think
like
they came
that.
fourth in that group, and Lukaku was like stopping his teammates from scoring in that final game as well. I don't know. I just feel like I just don't really
Anyways,
see that he's done enough to deserve
yeah.
leading another golden generation, to be honest, when there's so many managers that I think could do a better job there.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, neither Pablo nor I is a fan of Roberto Martinez.
And again, the thing is, I don't
So,
think you necessarily need to be a good club coach to be a good national team coach. In fact, I
I
think
agree with
a
that.
lot of
Yeah,
the times it's not the case, right? Like Scaloni, for example, not really a good club coach. Deschamps, even in some ways, right? Not really like a great club coach. I
outside
mean,
of
he
one
did
good
well at
season, yeah,
Marseille,
it's
but
that's it.
who else? I mean, Luis de la Fuente, I think the last time he coached a club was like 20 years ago, right? Like he came up through like the U19s, U21s, like through the system. You
Joachim
know,
Lau.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Joachim Low as well.
I actually don't even know if he was any good in his regular. I have
No,
no
I
idea.
think it was decent, right? Like, but I just don't think it's not a prerequisite because it's very, really like a different sport in some ways, right? Like when you're coaching a club, you have the players every day, like you have a lot more contact with them, a lot more time to mold your system per se. Well, international football is a lot more. You kind of need to figure it out with like limited ingredients, right? You can't transfer players in. You need to kind of make it work with the players you have, and so. I do think in some ways
Hmm.
it requires a different skill set. That being said, I don't think Roberto Martinez has
Um,
demonstrated said skill set either for club nor for country. So I just don't get why he keeps getting chances. Maybe Portugal will go on and win the World Cup and they'll prove me wrong, but I just don't think that's going to be the case, to be honest. And I think they'll still have a couple tournaments after this to figure it out because some of their players are still quite young, are
they'll
still,
be,
you know,
yeah, and they'll be better off when
still.
Ronaldo eventually retires.
Yeah, at some point. But again, I don't think he's the real problem. And the thing is, they should have put four past the DRC even without Ronaldo. Like it's not.
No, I don't
Um,
think he's the problem either, but it will give them space, even just like in the dressing room, you know.
yeah,
But
so we'll see their next games. I mean, obviously, I still think Portugal are going to make it out of the group, even though it's very disappointing for them to
yeah,
draw against a team that hasn't made the World Cup since 1974.
yeah,
And they were called had a different name back then as well. They weren't even called the DRC. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think for now, I've seen some interesting matchups. I think still
yeah.
in my mind, there's not a clear favorite. Like I haven't really seen a team that's like blown me out of the water per se. Like all of them have had like good performances and a bit less convincing performances. Like in a way, maybe like Argentina is a team that has been very solid for me. Like obviously maybe they haven't hit the highs that like France hit in that second half against Senegal or that Spain hit in really the first half against Saudi Arabia or that England hit in the
Mhm.
second half. But I think they've just been really solid defensively as well. And I think defensive performances is what wins championships as well. So
It
we'll have to
does.
see
It
how it
definitely wins
goes. But
championships.
tonight we got France against Iraq. Do you have
Yes,
a
and
quick
one thing,
quick score prediction
yeah.
here?
And one thing before I say that, I've just released the lineups and a couple big changes for the French national team. Lucas Digne coming in as left back for Theo
Interesting.
Hernandez. That's interesting. I mean, give him a chance. Manu Kone coming in for Chouameni, getting
Great
his
player.
first World Cup start. Happy to see it. And then the last one being Barcola coming in for Doué.
Okay,
So
interesting.
that's
So Mbappe's still
rewarding
in the
him.
starting
Yeah,
lineup then.
Olise, Dembele, and Mbappe remain, probably because I think Deschamps wants to, this sounds awful, but pump as many goals as possible into Iraq. But giving those other younger players, with the exception of Lucas Digne, who's a veteran, a chance to shine. My score prediction, I'm gonna go big. You know what? I could be completely wrong. I'm gonna say 4-0 for France. It could age like milk, but I feel like this is the one where we need to just obliterate them.
Yeah, I think in one of my brackets I have 4-1, so I'm gonna stick with that at this point. I think
Yeah.
4-1. I think I can see Iraq getting a goal. I think there have been some question marks over Magnan's performance in that first game.
Yeah, he was not great.
I
Yeah.
think in general there could be a goal there, but I think France are gonna have more than enough. And then we have tonight Senegal against Norway, which I think is gonna be a banger as well. I mean, I do think
That's
Norway
gonna
is
be a
gonna win,
really good game.
to be
I could
honest.
see that being like a 2-1, 3-2, something like
I mean,
that.
Norway have been pretty good, man, in the first game. I mean, obviously against Iraq, we're gonna have to see how that actually matches up when other teams play Iraq, like France. But I mean, Norway are looking good, man. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. But we'll be back with a new update, possibly as soon as tomorrow, and we'll see how these matches play out. We'll see how it looks in the next couple days, and yeah, hope you're enjoying this content. Let us know if you want to see some specific World Cup themed videos. And as
Yes.
always, if you're from a country that we're covering and you think we're missing something out, feel free to jump in.